Hey y'all, this is AL Thick Madame, and this is yet another installment of the Married Man Side Heffa Saga. So, this week was very crazy. I had an amazing day. Each day I worked as far as what I do when I go to work, but what went down over the course of like 2 days in particular, I'm tired in my spirit. So let me go ahead and tell y'all what happened. So for those of y'all who have not been here or don't remember, my work schedule is Fridays through Tuesdays, and the only time that I work on Wednesdays and Thursdays is if I am at the top of the rotation list and I am needed, and nobody has volunteered to take my spot. So the last couple of weeks I've been able to get my days off because I was lower on the rotation list. And even if I'm at the very bottom of the list, if for some reason every single person called out and they needed somebody, I would be drafted. So, for those of y'all who know how rotation lists go, you know what it is. So anyway, I've been able to get my days off and I'm glad about it. So the week prior, I was off for a whole week. Came back in for one day and went back out and got my days off that I normally get, and then came back this Friday that just passed. So I'm talking about this week that just passed, Friday through Tuesday that just happened. Y'all came into work, did what I was supposed to do, left. Saturday, I took off. The reason why I took off Saturday was because the married dude that I work with, not the OG married dude who works in conjunction with my department, but in a different area. I'm talking about the married dude who I'm cool with. He is cousins with one of my friends, and he is supposed to be getting divorced in January. Drawing up the paperwork, doing something. I don't know if he's gonna get the process started or whatever, but he just straight up told me I'm done, all of that. That's the married dude I'm talking about in this instance. So I took off Saturday because his son was getting married, right? Now, what does that have to do with me, you might ask? Okay, my job has a tendency to try me. They have a tendency to try me when they know that certain people are going to be there or whatever. And I try to save my time for when I might really need it or whatever. And I'm pretty good at it because when I worked for the state of Alabama, I used to give my time away. Like, the only time I literally took off was when I was taking examinations for my certification. So yeah, we ain't even gonna get into that because I don't even. So anyway, the son got married Saturday, but the thing is, I knew about the wedding coming up and all this other stuff. And he told me he was gonna be off because it's his son's wedding, and his youngest son, who he has by the woman who he's married to currently, is in the wedding. He was a pallbearer. I mean, y'all not pallbearer. Excuse me. He was a ring bearer. Oh my God. Okay. So he was so excited. He would talk to me about it all the time. And I kept trying to make up in my mind whether or not I was going to call off or not. The closer it got, I straight up told him, I was like, I'm taking off because they not finna try me. So anyway, I took off Saturday. He took off Sunday. He came up to me on Friday and was like, did you take off Saturday? I was like, yeah. Wait a minute. He came up to me Tuesday before I was off for my 2 days. He was like, did you take off for Saturday? I was like, yeah. He was like, that's not the day I took off. I was like, what you talking about? The wedding is Saturday. He was like, yeah, the wedding is Saturday, but I took off Sunday. Y'all, anyway, I tried to go and talk to the people, and basically they was like, you know what? We can't do nothing about that because, I was like, you know what, whatever, I don't even care. In my mind, I was like, that's the side Heffa's Friday. So worst comes to worst, at least I won't have to deal with her on Saturday, have any type of possible interaction with her. I'll just take that as the win for me. So he was off Sunday. Cool. Monday comes. He comes back to work. Now, before he even came back to work, keep in mind he's messaging me, y'all. He is sending me messages. And he's like, hey, how you doing? I said, I'm fine. How you doing? He was like, I'm good. So the day of the wedding, he sent me pictures of himself and his son. And I was like, okay. I said, he looks so cute. And I said, I guess the daddy all right too. So I could see what he was gonna say. Like I wanted to see what he was gonna say. I was like, what he gonna say? He better not try me. And he didn't. And you know what I'm saying? He likes when I compliment his sons or whatever. Child, he finally showed me a picture of all of his children. He has what, 3 adult men, children, and 1 little boy. Man, he couldn't deny them kids for nothing. And I straight up told him that. I was like, I know you ain't asked nobody for nobody's DNA test. He was like, he went off. He was like, yeah, I sure didn't. I ain't need to. Them genes strong. Y'all, his sons are tall, dark, chocolatey, and fine. All of them. All of them. And they all up my alley. I know y'all looking at me like, girl, wait a minute. Yeah, they all up my alley. They all like late 20s and things, and shoot, I'm a little cougarish at times. So anyway, y'all, let me stop. I ain't with nobody, ain't doing nothing. Anyway, I'm just being silly. So anyway, like for real though, they really are fine. I was like, what is going on here? So anyway, he couldn't wait to get back to work to send me pictures from the wedding. So the wedding hadn't even happened yet. He done sent me a picture that was taken at the house of him and his son together and what they had on. His son is so cute, like for real. So anyway, I was like, oh, okay then. Because he had already told me before the last time I saw him that he would come to work and show me the pictures. So I was like, okay, child, tell me why we get back to work. He comes back to work Monday. So we were working in 2 completely different areas. And so he asked me, how was I doing? Who was working with me and all this other stuff. I said, and I told him all of that. He told me, I miss working with you. Cause he really like a lot of people like working with me because I actually believe in teamwork and working together. If I see you struggling, I'll come help you. Like we working, we doing the same thing. We getting paid the same thing. Why watch you struggle when I can help you? Why sit up there and make it harder when it ain't even got to be like that? Especially if I'm caught up and I done did everything I'm supposed to do. That's just the type of person I am anyway when it comes to life in general. So anyway, he's messaging me, and coincidentally, like my area was so lax that day. Like I was bored, and for some, it's like them people turn the heat on. Like I remember that day like it was yesterday. It's like they turned the heat on blasting. I don't know what that was about because prior to that, I was freezing to death. Like a couple of days prior to that, I don't know what it was. I was freezing to death. But it really felt like somebody turned a furnace on. I was like, man, ain't nothing going on up here. It's boring and it's hot. The only thing I can complain about is that it's hot. Whatever. So, tell me why. At one point in time in the conversation, this man gonna say to me, when we get off today, let's make love until noon. I looked at that message. Then I looked at that message again because I was like, I know this man didn't send what I think he sent. And it said exactly that again. And I was just like, boy, you already know how I get down. Because he already know I don't want nobody that's already taken. I don't want somebody who already has papers on them. I don't want somebody that got a girlfriend. I don't want somebody that got a fiance. I don't want somebody who already got somebody, claiming somebody, dealing with somebody. And they love him, in love with him, was in love with him, all of that, whatever. I know he don't love her no more, but I don't want no parts of that. Y'all got papers on each other still. You was to die right now, she would be able to do whatever she needed to do, be power of attorney and all the other stuff, whatever. I ain't got time. She has the legal authorization to do whatever in regards to you. So no, I ain't got time. And I ain't looking for nothing anyway. And I've literally told him that before. Like I've had a long conversation with him telling him this. He has seen things that I put out before where I've discussed what has happened when the side heifer tried me. So he knows that I am not here for being with somebody else's man. So anyway, I was like, this boy talking about us going, making a love. And then I make a point to say, and you would not be able to handle me. I don't know what it is about me, but I mean, since I don't mind discussing sex, I didn't, provoke anything. I'm just making a statement, a true statement about myself. Like, I don't mind discussing sex or whatever, talking about sex. And for whatever reason, I told him, You would not be able to handle me. I had already told you this. You already would not. It don't matter, but you would not even be able to handle me. You would be to set up there and been knocked out, and then waking up and calling out from work on our last day of work, because we have the same exact schedule. We come in and leave out the same days unless he want to, sign up to work. We have enough people right now to where they don't need anybody on our days off. So this is the first week that, and I don't know how many months that he is off. So he's off today. And unless somebody called out or something and then they asked him if he wanted to work, he's not working tomorrow either. He got to come back Friday like I do. Child, he gonna have the audacity to say lies. Then he gonna send another message talking about, and you ain't even got to do nothing. Like he thought he was gonna like bribe me into something. He was like, you ain't even got to do nothing. You ain't got to do nothing. All you got to do is just lay there. I do all the work. I promise you, whatever. I was looking at that bed. I really was dying. I was up there cackling to the top of my lungs, like for real. Y'all don't understand. I be dying laughing at him. I just be like, boy, if you don't get somewhere. I done dealt with people that should be all the way on top of their game, have all this stamina in the world, and I done about killed them. And I ain't even where I used to be stamina-wise. And y'all know what they say about women versus men scientifically. Men reach their sexual peak at like age 18. We reach ours. We get to that peak at around 40. I'm 37. I kind of just started, even experiencing anything worth mentioning in very recent years. I ain't doing nothing right now, but I'm just making a point yet again. So anyway, he 43. 42, 43. He in his early 40s, whatever it is. He 40 something. So he might be able to keep up, but in my mind, I'm just like, sir, you probably give me 2 good pumps and then I'll be mad, and then you be the set up here, set it off, and I ain't got time. I'm saying all of this like as if he were actually single. If you were single, I feel like the sex gonna be trash, and then you got your life while I'm over here mad because I didn't get nothing out of the situation except frustration. So anyway, y'all, we go back to talking about regular stuff like we always do, because like outside of them times when he be thinking he gonna slide something in there, we actually be talking about, like, we had a heavy moment. We had a really heavy conversation soon after that we were talking about, and because he didn't know certain things about me and why I have decided to stay single and other stuff that led into that. But it was a really heavy conversation. That's all I'm gonna say. And like, I like the fact that even though he likes me and all this other stuff, when a heavy conversation is brought up or a serious moment is happening, he knows how to turn that off and actually be in that moment and act the way he should. Anyway, act accordingly. So anyway, y'all, on that same day, the side Heffa worked 4 hours, like I mentioned earlier in this video, right? So I felt like somebody was watching me, and I looked over in her department and I saw 2 sets of eyes. But the way that they were, where they were like kind of behind something. And I was like, I feel like that's the side Heffa and somebody else, but I don't know, whatever. But I kept feeling like somebody was burning a hole in the back of my head. So I turned around again, and I clearly saw it was the side Heffa, and it was the girl who works part-time. Now, keep in mind, literally just found out that she, the girl who works part-time, is cousins with the OG married dude that the side Heffa was screwing. So, okay then, let's keep that in mind. Y'all, Monday comes, and this is the second day that the Heffa worked 4 hours and went home. Okay, tell me why we ain't even 30 minutes into the shift when this dude rolled up on me and he said, oh yeah, so-and-so said that she coming to talk to you because she heard you was talking trash about her. You over here going around telling everybody that she don't do no work and that she lazy. And I was like, what? What are you talking about? I thought he was joking because, like, when I first met him, there would be times where he would say something because he wanted to see what my reaction was. So I'm thinking that this is one of these moments. But now I've gotten to the I've gotten to a point where lately, every time he's been coming at me with stuff, it really actually has been the truth. But in my mind, I'm just like, ain't no way, because I really don't actually go around telling nobody nothing about this heifer. Like, what is we talking about? So anyway, and then whenever I talk to anybody about anything going on up in there, 99% of the time, it's the married dude. And he don't be going around spreading nothing that I say. Whatever I say, usually it's something that coincides with something that he's already said. So it's like, stop the madness. Child, he said that the married dude and me are the next two people that's going to be on her list. Now, keep in mind, she don't work on Monday. She work on Friday, Saturday, Sundays. So she was over there talking to the side heifer on Sunday before she left. And I was wondering why she was still over there, because her shift was over. She should have been going home. But that's what was going on. She was over there actually talking to this heifer, telling her that we all had a meeting and we were all congregated up just talking about her, talking about how lazy she is and how she don't do no work and the specifics that go on in our job that are actual facts, meaning that she really don't do no work and she does not do these things, which are a very big part of our job. And it can be a lot. I do a lot of physical tasks at times. And for me, I personally don't care because I've been losing weight, honey. So, yeah. And I've already told other people that, like, when I have to do it like a little bit more because people are busy, something is going on in their area that calls for their attention, I don't care, because as long as my area is straight, I'll go do that. It is what it is. So anyway, I'm thinking he joking. And so I went back to my area and I started texting old boy. Well, not texting him, messaging him, because I already told I ain't giving none of these people my number. So anyway, I messaged him. I said, man, guess what? Your friend mad at us. So at this point, I'm really still thinking it's a joke. He was like, who was my friend? I said the girl's name. He was like, man, she better go ahead. The way that he says stuff in messages is exactly the way that he speaks in real life. So he had me dying. It's like I envisioned him saying it. So I really started screaming, laughing. So I told him what was said and that she's supposed to be coming and talk to us. He was like, man, she better go ahead. She better go ahead. She don't want it with me. I was like, don't do it. So I don't pay no attention to it. A whole nother person come up to me and say the same thing. I'm like, why? Why is this what's happening? Why is this what's happening? I don't understand why this is the conversation that is happening and being brought to me on today. I'm having an amazing day. Like, what is going on here? Y'all, I ain't gonna lie to y'all. This is gonna be a 2-part situation right here because the most popped off. So yeah. Like in a minute or two, when it reaches the 20-minute mark, I'm gonna cut it off and then I'm gonna start over with the second part because the most popped off. So anyway, I'm over here, laughing. And so like I said, a second person has approached me saying something about this. And I'm like, what? Like what? So with this person, I'm like, okay, so this really is a situation that happened. The issue for me is the side heifer had the audacity to say out of her mouth that she overheard me, actually said my name, saying that I was one of the people who was in a group of other people, within a group of other people, and she overheard me talking about this heifer. Use a lie. I got triggered automatically because it's like, heifer, you ain't overheard nothing from me, because the only words that I say around you, whether I am working with you, because that's the only thing I have to say to you, or you are talking to somebody that I work with directly and in their face, so I can't even get their attention unless I say it, which is, I'm going to break. I'll be back in a minute, y'all.